Okay, so David Dole on the Rational National just recently put out a video about a a mother and father who both work in health in medical health services. They have a uh, they have a daughter who just recently turned 17. She was immune deficient, and these people are basically they buy all the nut job conspiracy theories that David and Kyle and all these other lefties constantly talk about. Free speech. Everybody deserves to have free speech. And I've made videos about how free speech is a lie. Truthful speech, true speech, one that informs, so that it advances us, that takes away our ignorance. That is true speech. That's truthful speech. Free speech is a lie. When we all see those who actually can think and see, we all see the outright hypocrisy, the lies. Often described as mental gymnastics. But it's a lie. A lie is a lie is a lie. Simple. It's false. That is not free speech. That is a lie. MSNBC, they lie under that free speech bullshit. Fox News lies under that free speech bullshit. Breitbart lies under that free speech bullshit. Saga and Jetty lies under that free speech bullshit. Now, why am I so fucking angry? We had periods of people who were anti-vaxxers. They were fed lies or misinformation or disinformation. They were fed fear. It was fear-mongering. Because they put all sorts of other nonsense ahead before they came out with actual facts. So it confused them. That's how they lie. That is that free speech. Because they tell you one thing and then they tell you another thing. So these people get fearful, confused, and they develop insanity. Because that's what lie is. Feeding insanity. Free speech is a lie. And when so-called lefty warriors of free speech like Kyle Kulinski and David Dole and every other fucking idiot that does this and cannot understand the simple truth, we get what David just covered about this two people, these two parents who worked in the medical health field. They had an immune compromised daughter who had just turned 17. They took her to a COVID party with 100 kids or something like that. None wearing masks. Not doing social distancing. And the child died. That is what your fucking free speech does. That is why I get so goddamn fucking angry. That is why I call them fucking criminals. I don't care if it's a fucking politician. I don't care if it's a fucking judge. I don't care if it's a fucking so-called religious leader. I don't care if they have a fucking MD in front of their fucking names. Or a PhD. A lie is a fucking lie. And that is what happens when shit like that happens. Because free speech is a lie. True speech, one that comes from knowledge, that tries to wipe away ignorance, that works to wipe away ignorance, to bring us forward, to move us forward. That is what we should demand. Not free speech, but true speech. Truthful speech. One that informs. One that does not put in schizophrenia and fear and ignorance. That is why free speech is a lie. That is why, the same reason why non-violence is a lie. Because all the violence is done by those who have power, or those who are accepted, who may not have power but are accepted to use the violence so that they can, so that the ones in power can continue to do so. In every way, shape, and form, they use it. They are committing violence every minute, of every second, of every day, of every week, of every month. That is what I always say, because it protects them, so that they can say, "Oh, look, it's these radicals." What the politicians and the media, the so-called media, what they are, they're not media. They're not truth speakers. They're lying criminals who should be in jail because they are taking bribes in the form of, pay. I'm getting paid for my work. That's a fucking bribe. That's it's criminal. And that goes along with that fucking lie that's called free speech. We need and deserve true speech, so that lefties like Kyle, like David, like so many others, don't get confused about free speech and true speech, and keep promoting this lie, so that those who are more than willing to lie, to fabricate and tell whatever the fuck they want, no matter how insane it is, no matter how destructive it is, and they defend her. Oh, they wag their finger and they point it out. But you gotta, David, Kyle, Jimmy, Ollie, you gotta stop with this fucking free speech crap. Bo of the Fifth Column, you gotta stop. We don't need free speech. We need true speech. Otherwise, we get this insanity where a child is killed by their own parents because of the level of ignorance that has been placed, and that ignorance has turned to insanity. Because that's what true speech is. I mean, free speech is. Seeding insanity. So that you are so damn confused that so damn confused and fearful that you will kill your own child. And then turn around saying, "Oh, she's such a patriot." They don't even say, they don't break down and say, I committed a crime, I committed a sin, I killed my own child, I deserve death myself. No, they're talking about my child was my 17-year-old child whom I forced to go to a COVID party, unprotected, who was immune compromised. They forced her to commit involuntary suicide. A child who had her life ahead of her. This is why free speech is a lie. This is why it is a sin. It is a crime of all those who keep spouting this free speech bullshit. Stop with the free speech. Talk about true speech. Talk about truth speech. Because true and truth informs us. It helps to eliminate ignorance. It moves us forward. It keeps us informed so that we do hold what we should hold dear. So that we do not have ambiguity in our morality. Because that's what free speech does. It puts ambiguity and gray areas where there are none. This whole idea of gray area. There is no gray area. The only reason gray area exists is because of the lie of free speech, because of the lie of nonviolence. It is the lie that created this dynamic of gray area. There is no gray area. When I'm low on money and I take quarters and nickels and dimes because I need cigarettes or I need to get a soft drink or something, I am wrong for doing that when I do it at my parents'. Oh, it's lying around on the floor and I take it. It is still wrong. There is no gray area. There is no gray area. It is always that cut and dry. When a corporation and the wealthy dump toxins which causes cancer, diabetes, and all sorts of other diseases, that is a crime. And it doesn't affect a few, it affects thousands to millions. That is why we have an explosion in cancer treatment centers. The whole opioid crisis. That is why we have an explosion of opioid treatment centers or drug treatment centers. This is when the so-called food manufacturers overdose us with salt, sugars, and all sorts of other additives. And it causes diabetes, it causes obesity, it causes so many other health. That is a crime. It is cut and dry. If you go and attack somebody for no good reason, and you get sent to jail, that's cut and dry. You were wrong. If a judge or the people that make the rule that say they're guilty or not, and they call it guilty, and they agree with the judge because you hurt somebody, but you didn't kill them, You didn't actually cause them any permanent damage. And they send you to jail. And they send you to jail for 10, 15 years. That's a crime on the part of the judge and the jury. Because they should be speaking out and saying, no, that's ridiculous. That's cut and dry. When you smoke marijuana, even if it's against the law, with all the evidence out there, and it shouldn't be a law, it's cut and dry. It should not be illegal. Alcohol kills more people than marijuana has ever had. It's cut and dry. You see where I'm going with this. There is no fucking gray area. There is right and there is wrong. When you lie and you put it out and you have a huge following and you're seeding insanity, then you are wrong. Because you create others to seed that insanity unintentionally because you have fed insane levels of ignorance. That is wrong. When it causes them to sacrifice their own child and they can't even see the sin and crime that they have committed, that is wrong. And that is because of the politicians, because of the media, because of their fucking religious organizations, because of their parents and others. It's because of the education system. It's because of society. It's because of the lie of free speech. It's because of the lie of the law, rather than putting a distinction on true speech and not free speech, which is a lie. The media always likes, and so many others like to use, speaking truth to power. But you're not speaking truth to power if you accept the lie because of free speech. If we don't go after them because they can continue to do so, and they can use the police who have become nothing more than mafia enforcers. When you have judges, I mean, there's a fucking report of over 2,000 fucking judges who have clearly broken the law and committed crimes, yet are still sitting on a bench putting out verdicts and judgments. That is wrong. That is a crime. When PG&E, when they have known about how them not maintaining and how they embezzled money, so when they got fined, they paid back some of that money that they embezzled through from the taxpayers through the so-called subsidies. That is a lie. It's a crime. When it's been happening for decades upon decades, and to the point that it started, finally a fire that was caused because of their gross criminal negligence. It burnt down Paradise and another city, and burnt down some another city, causing 85 people to die. To call it manslaughter, second-degree manslaughter of 85 counts, that is a crime. That is a media narrative. To say alleged when the facts are out there, that is a lie. That is all due to this free speech nonsense. We need true speech. We need true speech. Please, please, please stop using free speech. Speak of true speech. Because the truth is there. It is just as cut and dry as I've been talking about. But that is the problem. Free speech is a lie. Non-violence is a lie. Gray area is a lie. That is propaganda. That is what keeps these fucking high criminals who should be in jail or hung from the highest tree. There is no room for compassion and empathy for those who knowingly lie, for those who knowingly continue to put policies, laws, statutes, and regulations which disadvantage millions to thousands, to hundreds of thousands, to millions, when for centuries they have taken actions that have killed hundreds of millions with this so-called wars to go bring democracy. Their invasions so that they could extract wealth and material goods so that they can sell it to us so that they can make even more wealth. Those are the hoarders. Those are the pirates. Those are the buccaneers. Those are the privateers. Those are the high con men and con women. Those are the ones who are the truest high criminals, the truest traitors. I don't want to hear about free speech. I want to hear about true speech. Because the truth is out there. It is because we have free speech, this lie of free speech, that people are not motivated, curious enough to actually look for truth. Because this has been going on for centuries. We have seeded the insanity. It is a lie. A lie is a lie. It's a lie. It's a falsehood. And it is danger. It is an existential danger. It is one that brings us closer and closer and closer to committing our own involuntary suicide into extinction and oblivion. That is why we have wars. That is why we have people killing other people. Because the lie of money, the lie of work, the lie of all, it is all under free speech. And this idea, this falsehood that has seeded insanity. When the truth of the matter is, we can, especially of today with the level of technology we have, we could all be trying to go after our dreams, our aspirations. We could be We could be actors and singers. We could be engineers and astronauts. We could be anything and everything. If we didn't have money, if we didn't have this idea that we need to work in order to live, because work is only to exist, to be stationary. Money is a lie. We do not have a finite amount of resources. The only reason why we have a finite amount of resources is because of the lie. Because that lie has promoted the idea of just using up more and more and more without taking into consideration how to recycle, how to do it without creating so many byproducts and waste, which end up killing us and the very natural world we need, which sustains us. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to want to grow up. It's time for us to want to leave childhood behind. It's time for us, when we say we care, we are compassionate, we are empathetic, that we truly demonstrate it by wanting to leave behind the ignorance, which brings hate, which brings stress, worry, all the things that create the negativity and the aggression and the idea that we have to get ahead at any cost, where we start to lose the so-called humanity. I want people. I want persons and people. When you have a person and you bring people in, you have a community. When you enlarge that community and you evolve that community by speaking truth and advancing us by eliminating ignorance. When we give as freely as the earth gives to us, there is nothing we can't accomplish. There is nowhere we can't go. We can have all the doodads and gadgets, gadgets that we have, and we can even make it. We can even make them even more advanced. We can sustain ourselves and sustain our world. We don't need to go around trying to extract resources from all over the place and hoard it. We can build products that we can leave space so that we can redundancy space so that we can upgrade, so that we're not just throwing it away. With true speech, we would understand this. Please stop using free speech, because free speech is a lie. It's a lie.